tout le monde. Assalamu alaikum, sabah al-waneksan, sabah al-khair, habari za asubuhi, mwasuze mutia. I hope I have run through the region. If I have left anybody behind, my kind apologies. As a way of introduction, Mubarak, Mabuya are my names, and I work at IGAD Secretariat, where I serve as the Program Manager for Coordination and Partnerships. In this role, I basically raise friends and maintain friends for IGAD in very simple terms, but I am responsible for development cooperation at IGAD Secretariat based in Djibouti. And it's an honor for me to moderate this session. Mr. Kalist has relayed the apologies of the keynote speaker who should have come from the African Development Bank, but has also stepped in for the chair for the session, the Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Uganda. But we are blessed to have two eminent persons in the field of water resources management who will be able to open the door for us by illuminating some important issues about financing for groundwater. And having said that, allow me to recognize and observe all protocol and welcome you to this very important session on financing for water. And as Kalis did mention, the money is what makes things move. So financing for the water sector is critically important. If you like, financing water is financing life, because it's always been said that water is life. And without water, many things would not be able to survive. So we are, in a sense, talking about financing life as we talk about financing the water sector. So ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I know that time is not our best ally, but in also trying to keep with the scheduled agenda and time, and as we also honor and respect the time that has been invested by our colleagues who are online, allow me to embark on the session proper, which is financing the water sector. We, again, would like to say we're not able to have the keynote address from the FDB, but we'll get some trailblazing by two eminent persons in Daniel Balengi from the Swedish Development Corporation, who serves as the regional project manager in the Global Program for Food Security of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, SDC. We also have online Victor Vasquez, who is a senior water specialist from the World Bank, as the two main panelists for this session that will take us at least 1 hour. We will provide an opportunity for the two eminent persons in the field of water to address specific questions to us that speak to the issue of financing the water sector and draw lessons from their own experience, after which we should be able to also share our experiences, and we'll be inviting excellencies, ministers here present, and delegates from the different IGAD member states and also partners to share their own experiences around a number of questions. And I would like, if you may give me the opportunity, to run through the questions that will be addressed in this panel. One is that, is water prioritized in national policies? And when you're talking about prioritizing water in national policies, we are talking about the extent to which the water sector attracts funding, because what is prioritized should receive funding. So we will be addressing the question of the extent to which water is prioritized in national policies. Does the investment in water, and especially groundwater, is it commensurate with such prioritization? You can say, yes, water is a priority, but in some jurisdictions we talk about unfunded priorities. So we want to find out, is the investment, especially in groundwater, commensurate with that prioritization? Because you might prioritize water, but maybe you don't invest as sufficient resources in groundwater. What have we learned from interventions of the COVID-19 pandemic? Again, water became pronounced over the last 2 years, particularly in terms of hygiene and sanitation, which was critical for fighting COVID-19. And we would be interested in finding out from the different experts internationally and within the region whether we had any lessons on investments in water during the COVID-19 pandemic. What are the funding sources for water investments in the region? And why are investments in groundwater low? Ladies and gentlemen, we will be answering these questions during this session. Compared with domestic spending in water, when we look at the domestic spending in water, how do we see the comparison with funding or contribution from development partners? Again, we want to see, is it something that has been largely left to the development partners, or is there a balance? Or is the country, the different countries in the region, putting water on the high profile of their budget priorities and therefore budgeting appropriately for the water sector, but also most importantly for the ground water? So ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to use this opportunity to invite Mr. Daniel Valengi from the Swedish Development Corporation, who I've already introduced, to share his experience on these questions that I've just read before you. He will have 10 minutes to share with us his presentation, after which we will invite Victor Vasquez from the World Bank to also share his presentation, and then we will get back to plenary, both here in Entebbe and online, to interrogate these questions further and get the discussion going. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Daniel Valengi from SDC to make his presentation. Our friends in IT, please, can we get Daniel Valengi online so that he can start his presentation? And just a reminder, we'll have 10 minutes for the presentation. Welcome, Daniel. He's not online. So may I then invite Victor, if Victor is online? Apologies. Initially, we had received information that Daniel was online, but currently it's Victor Vasquez from the World Bank who is available online, and allow me to invite Victor to take the podium and share his presentation. Victor, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. First of all, can you hear me properly and see me? Okay? Hello? Can you hear me? Well, I just want to be sure that everyone can hear me before I start.
Can we hear Victor very well? Yes, we do hear you, Victor. Okay. Please proceed.
Very good. Okay, so I